In this video, we're going to unbox the new Clone Wars core set for Star Wars Legion. Welcome to Zorba Gaming. My name's Lachlan Linton Keen, and welcome to our very first Star Wars Legion video. I have been so amped for Legion for ages, but I'm just not that hyped up about Rebels versus Empire, so when I found out that the Clone Wars was on the horizon, I was just losing my mind. I'm a huge clone boy. Jacko from the channel here is all about droids and clankers. My whole childhood was basically shooting droids in Star Wars Battlefront 2, so we've been freaking out about this. I hit up the boys and girls over at Fantasy Flight Games, and they have been super kind enough to send us over a box so that we can do a full kind of unboxing and review for you guys. This is the core set, so we've got lots of gorgeous miniatures in there, a kind of new updated rules manual. There's a little bit of kind of extra mechanics and gorgeous tokens, so we're going to go through all of that juicy stuff in this gorgeous new box set. This new kind of core set is going to be available for general release. It was originally slated for September, but it's looking like it'll probably end up being early October, but we'll see how we go. So it shouldn't be too long until you guys can get this in your hands. We have got a whole lot of awesome Star Wars Legion content planned. I'm going to do some kind of like painting guides and assembly guides with these kind of really gorgeous new miniatures, and that's kind of a big takeaway that we're going to have a look at in a sec. Is the miniatures in this core set are like a step above the kind of original core set Star Wars Legion miniatures. So we'll kind of assemble and paint all of those. We'll have some awesome kind of speed paint tutorials for you guys so that you can get your own models down as fast as possible, as well as, of course, this wouldn't be Zorba if we didn't do an epic narrative campaign. So stay tuned for a little more info on that in the future, but we have got some really awesome stuff lined up. Now, I've rattled on long enough. Let's crack on into getting this guy open and checking out everything that comes with the gorgeous new Star Wars Legion Clone Wars core set. So the first thing we notice off the top is beautiful cover art, and of course it's all about Geonosis. So we've got General Grievous, Obi-Wan Kenobi, a whole bunch of clones, and a whole bunch of droids, all kind of from the beginning of the Clone Wars. Now in terms of future releases, we know in January of 2020 there's a little bit more coming out. There's the AAT tank for the droids, as well as I think it's an IFT coming out for the clones, and a few extra troop options, but this is all we've got until then. So let's have a look at what we get. Obviously, starting off, we've got a new rules manual, which is a complete guide on how to play. This is a core set, a kind of secondary replacement core set in this different era, so you don't need to have the original core set to learn how to play. Everything in here will teach you. I love the Fantasy Flight rulebooks. Yes, they're soft cover, but they're so concise. They're really kind of clear, gorgeous color diagrams, and you know, lots of step-by-step kind of examples of the way the rules mechanics work. And of course, the favorite thing ever is this gorgeous quick reference on the back of the rules manual. So well done, Fantasy Flight, keeping up your awesome rule book work. Of course, we have a lot of tokens in Star Wars Legion, and there's a gorgeous new sheet here, a big sheet of lots of tokens. We've got kind of some surge tokens as well, which is a new mechanic that has been brought in with the Clone Wars expansion, as well as all of our old favorites. And you know, it's Fantasy Flight. They do cardboard stuff amazingly. They're gorgeous quality, really nice kind of bright printed colors, and a nice, you know, really kind of quality cardboard. So as always, we love our tokens, but this is where it gets interesting. Look at all the plastic that's jammed in here. Let's like, you know, dip our toes in. We've got some bases, gorgeous. They've kind of gone with the kind of classic good versus evil theme, so that we can easily tell who is who. There's blue bases for the clones and sandy kind of tan bases for the droids. So if you did just want to glue them together and get playing, it's kind of really easy at a quick glance to tell the models apart on the battlefield. As always, just like the first kind of Star Wars Legion core set, we've got some gorgeous little barricades here, which are absolutely like chock-a-block full of detail. And this is the only terrain that comes with the kit. Obviously, you're definitely encouraged to use a hell of a lot more terrain. More on that later. But you know, it's really nice that you do get a little bit of something in the kit, so that if you just want to, you know, get into a game really quickly, you can throw these down on the battlefield, you know, chuck some other random household objects, and bang, you got a battlefield ready to go. Really nice. And look how many there are too. What's this, like 8, I think? 8 barricades, so yeah, very nice. Lovely work there, Fantasy Flight. Let's kind of knock off all the unexciting things out of the way. We've got a set of range measurers. Obviously, you know, the way that kind of Star Wars Legion works is it's all about the specific range modifiers and the range measurers. Things kind of, they've got different specific ways that units move with relation to the movements, and it's all about the range, very similar to, like, you know, X-Wing or Star Wars Armada, if you guys have played that. And so these are very important important. And as always, yeah, really nice quality plastic. They're not going to break on you anytime soon. Good work there. All right, we're getting there. Couple more bases. We've got a big base and 4 kind of smaller, like kind of medium-sized bases. So I have a feeling that the tan is actually the clone bases and the blue is the droids, because we know from the back of the box that we get ourselves a big bark speeder for the clones and a bunch of droidicas for the droids. So I'm guessing that's what those are. We will soon be revealed. Let's dive in. The last boring thing to get out of the way is, of course, it comes with some dice. It wouldn't be a core set if it didn't come with dice. One thing that's awesome, though, is you get a lot of dice. Like, kind of previously in sort of Fantasy Flight core sets, I think of the first Star Wars Legion and like X-Wing and stuff, you got like 6. So it's really nice to get a big chunk of dice. Obviously, we all love dice and tabletop wargaming. They are very important. Right, that's all the boring stuff. Tokens, dice, bits of whatever. Let's get into the models. So, straight away, look how much plastic is in here. This is insane. And we can see like some sprues, but also some Ziploc bags. So let's start with the sprues because they're right in front of me. On the top here, we've got a little Ziploc bag for, wow, this is our bark speeder, and this is a lot of parts, and we will start to see this. Now, one of the things that kind of really bummed me out about the first Clone Wars, Star Wars Legion core set was the models were good, but I'm a Games Workshop boy. I'm used to paying a ridiculous amount of money for the best models and stunning sculpts with stunning levels of detail, and I sort of thought that some of the early sculpts were just a little bit kind of soft and not sort of, you know, amazing. These new sculpts look incredible. Look at these sprues. This is, I think, our B1 droids here. This is part of our droids, and this is like gorgeous, proper sprue level detail, absolutely chock-a-block jammed in. This looks like it's General Grievous here. I can see 4 lightsabers and a really nicely textured swirling cloak. I mean, this is the inside of his cloak, and look at all that texture. So that is pretty fantastic. Obviously, with Grievous, you've got some kind of options for kitting him out. You can go with 2 sabers, 4 sabers. He's got his pistol here as well. His torso is completely multi-part. All of his legs, his arms. He looks like his face is even multi-part as well, with the kind of big sort of rabbit ears that he has there as part of his droid assembly. So lots and lots of detail options for General Grievous, the first hero that we have discovered in the box. Let's keep on digging. So here we've got some general droid parts. It looks like these are part of our droidicas actually. We can see the droidica armatures here. It looks like every single kind of blaster on their blaster array is completely individualized. These are going to be quite interesting to put together. We've got more of our droidicas here. We can see that big kind of external carapace that forms the shield generator and the spine of the droidica. I wonder, I presume they're only buildable in kind of deployed mode, but it will be fun to do a few conversions and make a couple of droidicas in ball mode rolling along the battlefield. That would be very cool. So there's our droidica sprues. That looks like that's most of them. And then we're into our droids. Now this is, like, I literally feel like I'm at a droid factory. This is the coolest thing ever. It feels like, you know, the scenes from, like, Attack of the Clones where you're seeing the droids get made and everything. This is like an assembly line of bloody clankers. Looks like we got some really nice posing options as well. I can see kind of lots of bits and accessories that are completely separate, like guns and blasters. We've got hands and armatures that are gripped in particular poses. But look, it's all ball joints and looks like a lot of posability, a lot of flexibility, and you're going to get a big opportunity to be really kind of like unique in the way that you assemble your droids. Now, before we kind of go any further, it is worth noting this looks like a lot of work. You do get some absolutely gorgeous assembly instructions for every single model in the kit. The clones, the droidicas, the droids, and of course our 2 heroes, Grievous and Kenobi, because there is, you know, quite a lot of work to do here. I mean, that bark speeder looks like a pretty serious build. So it's really nice that we're not left in the dark here. It should be, you know, pretty easy and pretty awesome to put those all together. So let's keep digging. We've got some more droid sprues here. We've got lots of torsos, lots of legs. It looks like some of these sprues are just duplicates because obviously we're smashing out our numbers here. We've got a couple of squads of droids. This is a slightly different sprue. We've got a few more kind of customization options perhaps. This is a leader sprue, like a clone captain or a clone sergeant, because this guy's got a little bit more special detail on him, a little bit more of some cresting and that sort of stuff. So, you know, because obviously with the way Legion works, you've got to have your kind of leader of the squad. They're really important, so nice for them to have a little bit of extra attention. There's another one of those. And then we've just got more and more droids, like droids for days. Then we have quite possibly the most exciting sprue of all, and that's the droid with the rocket launcher. Oh, Battlefront 2, eat your heart out. This guy is going to be awesome. I mean, let's face it, whoever took the fucking missile launcher droid in Battlefront 2, it was all about the super, but we haven't got any supers yet. It's all about B1s for now. So we've got a gorgeous little rocket launcher and what looks like perhaps a kind of, this might be our command sprue actually, because we've got some special weapons here that look like they'll suit pretty nicely for our droid leader. So, 2 of those sprues, 2 rocket launchers, 1 for each squad. That is a lot of clankers that I'm going to need some clones to absolutely obliterate them with. So, let's jump into our mysterious little collection of Ziploc bags. Now, you'll notice that all the droids come on sprue, the clones do not. The clones are kind of that old school method that we saw in the first box, where everything is kind of ziplocked together, pre-cut, it's all ready to go, and these are a lot less work to assemble. So let's crack open these little troopers here. It looks like they've grouped all the troopers so that the same pose is together. Obviously we've got 2 squads in here, so I think just by chance I've pulled out the clone sergeant here, because we can see that, my god, look at the detail in these models. These are gorgeous. We can see we've got a pointing finger, and as we all know in wargaming, you only point at things if you're a sergeant or a leader of somewhat of import. Normal soldiers haven't kind of read that training manual, so this clearly must be a sergeant. We've got, you know, some, oh yeah, he's got his little binocs there hanging off the sash. Definitely a person of import. Lots of gorgeous detail. Let's just drop all those guys back in. I do not want to lose any of these parts because they will go anywhere. So we got some more troopers here. Here's our kind of classic long form, the heavy repeater E11. He's got, you know, a lot of detail here, but once again, these are not as posable as the droids. It looks like the clones are relatively set in their positions. There's going to be, you know, a lot less kind of conversion options, but, you know, Star Wars Legion isn't really hugely known for its converting and its modeling. It's usually gorgeous enough models to have great fun on the battlefield, but not like going modeling crazy. But, you know, we like to go modeling crazy around here, so we'll see what we can do with them. Once again, I mean, look, they're not as crisp as Games Workshop models. Like, they're not as sharp. You know, Fantasy Flight are just cracking on into this land of kind of serious kind of production range miniature making, and they're definitely not as good, but the value that you get in these kits is phenomenal. I think this was, I think it's like $100 US, $99.95 I think it is, and you get like, you know, 2 full squads on either side, special support, so you get a bark for the clones, droidicas, and you get 2 characters for $100 US. Like, you know, you compare that to lots of other systems, and that's a very competitive price point that allows you to play a lot out of the box. It's, yeah, definitely fantastic value for what you're getting. I'm like, I still think these models are light years ahead of the original kind of Star Wars Legion core set, the Rebels and the Empire. I think they've come a long way, and they're looking really gorgeous. I cannot wait to get these guys painted. Now, obviously, no clone battalion will be complete without some heavy weapons, so we've got a couple of clones here, 1 for each squad, with this gorgeous, massive repeating blaster. It's, yeah, a kind of nice, kind of big, detailed unit. Again, looks like a kind of relatively limited posing options, but definitely a gorgeous little pose there. And then we've just got lots of kind of general clones with all the different bits and pieces. You can see here we've got the drivers for our bark speeder, which are, of course, essential. We need our pilots. Looks like that's the rest of the pilot torsos there, so they're split across 2 sprues. And then, of course, our final general, we have Mr. Kenobi himself, and he looks like quite a dynamic pose. He's got his saber out, his big Jedi cloak kind of swishing around everywhere. Let's have a look at his torso piece. That looks particularly detailed. He is quite an easy assembly, as we can see here. I can literally slot that guy together there for you. Whoop, there we go. We've got a Kenobi. We've got an arm. Of course, he's pointing because he's a leader, a person of stature. And it looks like he's actually doing the your move pose, which is rather badass. So excellent work, General Kenobi. We can have some fantastic photo shoots with Grievous and Kenobi kind of eyeing each other off. This is going to be so much fun. Yeah, gorgeous sculpt. He's going to look absolutely fantastic. Really nice dynamic cloth work. He's got his lovely kind of Jedi loincloth there and his utility belt. So looking very nice indeed, General Kenobi. So that pretty much brings us to the end of our clones, which just leaves one component left, which is, of course, all of our different little cards. Now, we've got you know, look, Fantasy Flight are gorgeous. They know how to print all these beautiful cards. They've been doing it for so many game systems now. But we can see that we've got all the kind of gorgeous little tactics, and they're so nice, color printed, and all this kind of beautiful information. And yeah, I mean, what would we expect? Looks like there's a nice diversity of options here. Lots of kind of specific kind of cards relevant to obviously our units, but also some new tactics and different bits and pieces that are really flavored to the Clone Wars expansion. So that's going to be really interesting to dive into. We'll get into like the contents of the specific cards further down the track as we start cracking into some battle reports. But then of course we've got all of these beautiful, look at the artwork on these. They've done a really stunning job. I mean, like, when do they ever not do a stunning job? But these command cards look absolutely gorgeous. We've got some custom mission cards as well, our deployment maps and configurations. Everything is, you know, at your fingertips. Lots of bits and pieces that help you to play the game and you know, help you make sense of everything. And then, of course, we have our character cards. Now, for those of you who don't play Legion, essentially every unit has a card mapped out to it, which is defined as characteristics and its abilities. You know, you have them sort of alongside the battlefield with you, and they allow you to kind of map out your command and all that sort of stuff. But they also kind of, they're a really great quick reference as well, because you sort of know what your units can do. They've got a bit of a nice double-sided effect with some more artwork favoring on one side, and then with our more detailed kind of information on the back. You can see here we've got our Phase 1 Troopers, our Bark Speeder, General Grievous, and enough for our B1 Battle Droids and our Droidicas. Now, there apparently are going to be some different formations of these same units being deployed in different ways. I think if you buy the Droidicas expansion, it comes with some different Droidica cards that allow the units to behave a little differently. Don't quote me on that, that was just hearsay, but you're definitely not just restricted to these cards that come in the box. We all know Fantasy Flight love to bring out new cards, and it's such a, honestly, it's one of the best things about this system is that they can modify and make changes to the game system just by releasing new cards that you either download and print off yourself, or they release them or send them out at events, all that sort of stuff. Because the rules system is just so sort of compact and kind of fundamental, then to make changes to the meta and things and kind of like they can just alter these cards. It's really brilliant, and it's one of the real advantages of having a system that's not as obscenely complicated as stuff like 40k. There's kind of an elegant simplicity to Star Wars Legion that just makes it so perfect for both casual and super competitive play, and a really kind of contained, managed system. I mean, they're full credit to Fantasy Flight. This is kind of a new world for them. You know, obviously they've been making board games and card games and limited and all that sort of stuff for ages, but this is a little bit more of a bigger step for them. They're jumping into wargaming. It's a big, scary world dominated primarily by one super mega corporation who do it amazingly well, and then there's a lot of other little corporations trying to get in and companies trying to get in and around in this kind of marketplace. It's an amazing time to be a consumer because we have all these incredible systems at our fingertips now, and I think Fantasy Flight are doing it well. They're kind of focusing on not being too expansive. They did really well and delivered on the first kind of range of the Star Wars Legion stuff. It's, you know, been incredibly well received by the community, and everyone has said, okay, that was awesome, please give us Clone Wars, and look, here we have what looks like it's going to be an epic kind of wave of releases for Clone Wars. So well done, Fantasy Flight. Thank you again so much to you guys for sending this all over to us so that we could get this video out nice and early for everyone. Help drum up a little bit of hype out of around what looks like an amazing product. So I'm going to pack all of this up and head over to the hobby desk and start working on some assembly and painting guides so that those are there for you guys and ready for when your own Clone Wars starter sets arrive, hopefully September, potentially October. We'll see how it unfolds. I'm super excited to see what you guys think of this set. I'm amped, but I love everything, so I get amped about everything. What do you guys think? Do you like the look of the new models? Do you feel like they've got a little bit of an edge on the original kind of releases for Star Wars Legion? Are you excited by potentially the new mechanics? We've had a little bit of information on them come out, and it looks like it's going to be a really great system and really themey, built around the Clone Wars. I just cannot wait to start making some content for this. It's going to be absolutely awesome. So definitely let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If there's any particular content you guys would like to see, any suggestions are always welcome. Just let me know. Make sure that you subscribe if you're new around here. We've got a whole lot of Star Wars Legion content planned in the works, so make sure you hit the bell and do whatever that stuff is so that you can see our gorgeous cloney upgrades as they come out, and we're going to have a lot of fun stomping Jacko's Clankers. It's going to be very exciting indeed. If you haven't seen our channel before, make sure you check out all the other goodies we've got here. Obviously, we've got a lot of Middle-earth stuff some 40k bits and pieces as well, and even I think there's one X-Wing video floating around somewhere, which was good fun. So yeah, all about Star Wars Legion. This is absolutely exciting. Clone Wars, mwah, I'm in heaven. Thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll see you next time here on Zorba Gaming. Cheers.